Okay, so you can rent a condo, or you can rent an apartment, or you can rent a townhouse, or you can rent a detached house. Unless you have a job, unless you've signed a contract, do not rent. If you want it to sound nice, you can say accommodation on a budget. You're just looking for cheap. Just write cheap accommodation in Bangkok or cheap accommodation in Chiang Mai. If you look like me, if you look like me, there are places where you're going to be treated differently. Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, karibu sana. If you're coming back, thank you. Sorry. I've been eating. So anyways, guys, back again with another question. I want to answer another question that Maya asked me to cover, and it has to do with cost of accommodation here. I've actually decided that I want to do cost of living, but I want to break it down. Okay, so this week I'm doing cost of accommodation. Then I'm going to probably do transportation next, but I don't know when when that is gonna be, because, well, I've become so lazy, guys. But anyways, cost of accommodation. Before I start, I need to like put a few things down. Yeah, you know, things that you need to put in consideration. For example, you should never rent before you actually get a job. Don't do that, okay? Unless you have a job, unless you've signed a contract, do not rent. The reason why I'm saying this is most accommodation leases in Thailand are a year long, and you pay a 3-month rent upfront, okay? So 1 month is for the month that you're staying, and then the 2 months is for deposit. And this deposit is only refundable at the end of your lease. So don't rent before you actually get a job and sign the contract, okay? Because say, for example, you think you're going to get a job in Bangkok, you know, and then you get a really nice job in Chiang Mai, you know, like that's gonna be money wasted. So first of all, get a job, sign the lease, sign the contract, and then you can rent. Okay. Now, with that said, the other things you need to consider when you're looking for somewhere to rent is location. Again, very important. You know, if so, for example, you get a job here in Bangkok, yeah, but you get it. You've decided to rent before you get this job, and then you get a job within Bangkok, but now it's like really, really far. Again, is going to cost you a lot of time, money, and all that stuff. Okay, so location is very important. Also, access to things like malls or markets, you know, transportation and all of that is very important. Yeah, location is very important, guys. Okay, the other thing you need to consider when you're looking for accommodation is you want to go to a place where there are already foreigners, okay? Because this already tells you that they are open to welcoming foreigners in their homes. I am talking from experience, guys, okay? I was going to tell you a story, but I think that's going to take too long. But anyways, so you really want somewhere with foreigners already, because that means they're able to communicate. You're not going to have problems with language barrier or being, you know, treated differently, if I'm to be diplomatic. If you look like me, if you look like me, there are places where you're going to be treated differently. So if there are already foreigners there, then that's a good start. Yeah. Anyways, let's get into these accommodations. First of all, okay, the other thing I need to say is renting in the city center or and outside the city center is different. You can imagine in the city center is more expensive than outskirts. Also, the same applies to like other provinces. If you're renting in Bangkok, it's gonna be different from renting, say, like an hour away from Bangkok. Those are also things that you need to consider. All right. Now let's look at those let's look at the types of accommodations you can rent. Okay, so you can rent a condo, or you can rent an apartment, or you can rent a townhouse, or you can rent a detached house. Okay, I do not want to talk much about the other ones. Like I've stayed at an apartment, and I've stayed at condos before. I've never stayed in a detached house or a townhouse. Okay, so I'm only going to be saying things I've heard about them, but what I can give you in-depth information on is condos and apartments. Okay, so let's start with condos. Condos, yeah, mostly there are quite a number of them, quite a number that are coming up as well. Okay, so you can get places like Lumpini or Plum Condo or Delight Condo. There are so many. You are something that there are too many. Okay, but normally the thing about condos is they're very strategically placed. Okay, so they are always close to transportation, close to the malls and stuff like that. Okay, so this you also have to consider. You might want to go at a condo, but now it's close to all these malls, but it's really far from your school. So there's always a trade-off. You have to weigh them and see what makes sense. Okay, normally they have like really good facilities. You find that in most condos they have a gym, they have a pool, they have a 24-hour security, and then in most cases, like the two condos that I've stayed at, they have convenience stores within the condo. Okay, like the last one I stayed at was very nice. We had we had a pool, we had a gym, we had a rooftop garden, we had and then we had a really big 7-Eleven where you could even buy groceries. Very nice. We had restaurants, we had salons, and then we had a massage parlor. That's a selling point for me. A massage parlor. What else did we have? We had quite a number of things. Yeah. Also, we had like an agent. So if you wanted to rent a place in Plum Condo, you just walk to the agent, and then they have like free vacant rooms for you to choose from. Yeah. So condos are very efficient, if I can say that. The downside is they're quite tiny. And the other thing is also they are very modern, okay? Modern, but quite tiny. Like you get that a studio can be about 26 square meters. That can be a studio or a one bedroom. Though, most condos, when they say one bedroom, it's basically just a studio. Because it's your bedroom and then a glass door and then your living room and then you have a kitchen and then you have the bathroom, okay? And most of the time you find that these condos are fully furnished. That means it comes with, like the sitting room comes with a couch and a TV, yeah? And then the bedroom obviously comes with a bed and a mattress. And then the kitchen has a microwave. Yeah, just a microwave in the kitchen, mostly. Yeah, and then there's a bathroom. In the bathroom you have hot water. So yeah, that's basically a basic studio. A studio like that would go for about between 6,500 onwards. You know, it depends on how many things you have in the room. For example, the first condo I stayed at was Lumpini. That they charged me 7,500. Again, 26 square meters, but it was fully furnished. I did not have a washing machine, though they had like a common area where we could wash our stuff. But the condo that I stayed at in Plum, which was further from the city center, was the same amount, but then I got a washing machine. So it depends. The further you move from the city center, the less expensive it becomes. Yeah. So that's about condos. Also, you get let's say you get 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms. Obviously, the more rooms you have, the more expensive it gets. But for a studio, it goes from 6,500 to 8,000. 8,000 means that it's like really nice. You like probably modern facilities and stuff like that, modern furnitures and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's about a condo. The other one's 1 bedroom from 12,000. 2 bedrooms is probably from 15,000. Again, as a teacher, why do you want 2 bedrooms for what? I think like for like a reasonable amount would be like 6,500 is okay, or 7,000. That's okay. 7,500 is still okay. You know. And the other thing I need to mention is these things do not include electricity and water. This you have to pay separately. I've also noticed that in most condos the water is not expensive. It's like 60 baht a month. And then electricity depends on how you use it. if you always stay under the AC, you're going to pay a lot. Okay, but on average, you pay around 5,000 to 600 baht if you are really responsible with your electricity. All right. Yeah, so that's about condos. And then the other ones I wanted to talk about was apartments. These ones are very popular, okay? So there are quite a number of different types of apartments. You can get an old-fashioned apartment or a modern apartment or a fully serviced apartment. A modern apartment and fully furnished apartment. I'm not going to talk about these because these are for rich people. I know. Again, I said this a lot in my channel. Let me talk for myself. I cannot afford a modern apartment or a furnished, a serviced apartment, because these ones go from 15,000 onwards, guys. On average, they're about 35,000. Is this your salary? Is this your salary as a teacher? No. Though I can actually say that my apartment now is kind of modern. Anyways, I'm gonna talk about the other old-fashioned apartment. These are very popular with they are popular. You get an apartment that is old, but it's very spacious. Okay, it's not too far from things like transportation and stuff like that, except it has old things. Okay, the AC might be old, the things in the house might be old. The trade-off here is you get an old AC, it uses more electricity than you think, So normally, an apartment ranges from, let's say, actually from 3,500, let me say even 3,000, from 3,000 onwards, okay? But if you get an apartment that's 3,000, that's probably a studio, and it doesn't come with much, okay? You realize that some of them that are 3,000 don't even have air conditioning. That's another thing I needed to mention. Air conditioning, no, the condos are only all air conditioned. Because in Thailand, you cannot live without air conditioner or a fan. You'll die of the heat. Anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, if an apartment is 3,000, it's gonna come with very, very limited stuff. Okay, so, you're probably not gonna get a gym or a swimming pool or stuff like that, but you're going to get a big space for your stuff. Most of the time, you probably just are gonna get a fridge and a bed and a mattress, and then you have to buy the rest of the stuff for yourself. Which you then, if you actually do your calculations, you'd rather stay at a condo where they fully furnish these things for you. Because why would you want to buy a TV, or why would you want to buy a microwave and stuff like that? And not unless you plan on staying here forever or like for a very long time. But if you're staying for a short time, why would you want to do that? Because when you're leaving, you're going to be forced to sell these things off. So you just have to think about it, man. Sometimes you want to go for something that's a bit, my friend just texted me. So distracted. Distracted, oh God. Can I call you in 5? Yeah, my friend wants to call me in 5 minutes. We'll see. Let me wrap this up in 5 minutes. Anyways, what was I saying? I'm easily distracted. Yeah, apartments. So from 3,000 onwards. If you get an apartment that is between 4,000 and 5,000, that's a decent apartment. Again, spacious. Things might not be as new, but you get more furnishings. Like you get the AC, you get a couch, you get a bed and stuff like that. Okay, so I feel like an apartment is like a good option, especially if you're starting out. Okay, it's like a good option. When I first moved out, I stayed at an apartment. Yeah, and they offered me the bare minimum. It was a studio, like really, really deep in the soil. Yo, guys, remembering that story. I was literally the only foreigner. Like every time I would walk out to go to the market, everyone is just like, Allah, there are black people here. Anyways, that's about apartments. As I said, I don't want to talk about serviced apartments because these are just so expensive. Can you imagine renting an apartment for like 100,000? That is not my target audience. I don't think so. But if you want to know about them, very modern. You are very comfortable. You get like anything you'd want. Just imagine like if you pay something between 35,000. you really want to be comfortable. Yeah. The other accommodation I should mention is detached homes. This you get slightly out of town, quite affordable as well. Normally range from 6,500 onwards. It depends on the number of bedrooms, and then they're also furnished. Okay, so if you can get away with staying in the outskirts of the city but commute to work, you can save on rent. Okay, but also you have to consider your time and the transportation, because also traffic is the B word here. Yeah. Anyways, what did I not talk about? I do hope that I answered this question. One thing I haven't mentioned is, where do you get these apartments? You can look online. Okay, there are quite a number of agents, of sites that are offering these things. You can even narrow your search to accommodation, cheap accommodations for teachers. Cheap, okay? If you want to if you want it to sound nice, you can say accommodation on a budget. You're just looking for cheap. Just write cheap accommodation in Bangkok or cheap accommodation in Chiang Mai. Whatever you're looking for will come up, okay? The other thing you can do is, if you already have a job, you can ask your school if they help with accommodation. Like, my school was really nice, you know. They gave me, like, I think 4 options. They said, Chenancy, we have this condo, you know, it's only this distance from school. We have quite a number of teachers living there, you know, so that gives you, like, you become more comfortable to move into an area like that, because, you know, it's recommended by the school. So it's something that comes, that is legit. Okay, so yeah, ask your school, and then you can ask your fellow teachers, especially the foreigners. Though I don't know how much that would help, because if you ask your Thai teachers, they can even help you secure, like, talk out, you know, sometimes when you have to talk to your landlady or your landlord, the language barrier is a big problem. Okay, so ask your Thai colleagues as well. Okay, the other one is, you can use agents. Yeah, you can find these agents online, or you can even just, like, go walking. Okay, if you find a school, walk to apartments around the school, you always get something. Yeah. Anyways, I do hope I answered your question, Maya. Thank you for the question. I will do other stuff some other time. Yeah, keep the questions coming, and I will see you next time. All right, now I have to call my friend. Bye-bye.